Sasha Martha.
That's good. Hi, I'm Robin.
I'm Erin.
And this is Spirits and Spoilers, a show where we drink
Spirits.
and talk about movies.
Spoilers.
Spirits and Spoilers. Today's movie is Batman vs. Superman. Today's movie is Batman vs. Superman. A movie that you know all about at this point. We're late to the game coming out with an episode about this, but it was god-awful.
Yeah.
You know who's in this movie.
I know Ben Affleck was in it.
Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot,
Jesse Eisenberg
Amy Adams, and Diane Lane.
as Martha.
The most important
Essential
character.
character.
The whole movie.
Diane Lane was the real star of this movie. Who knew?
Okay, so the movie starts off with the Batman origin story, which we know. We know his parents were killed in an alley when he was a kid.
But we didn't know his mom's name was Martha.
So then we cut to end of Man of Steel, and Metropolis is being demolished.
I didn't get that.
Had you seen Man of Steel?
No. Oh.
So Batman is on the ground. You're watching Zod and Superman demolish Metropolis. Batman is contacting his corporation that is out of Metropolis saying, hey guys, get out of those buildings. Shit's going down. He gets there. He tries to save as many people as he can as Bruce Wayne. He ends up losing one or several of his employees. So Batman, you see, he's, holding this little girl whose mother was just killed by a collapsing building. And you can see him just being like, oh, that Superman, I'm gonna get you. You're a menace. So Batman has this grudge against Superman because of the whole Metropolis falling. Superman suddenly has an issue with Batman because Batman has been branding all of the criminals that go into jail, and if you're branded by Batman, that definitely means you're getting the shit kicked out of you.
They kill you.
Oh, they kill you?
Yeah, no, you're gonna die. It's like being a child molester.
Why? Why would their crimes be any different from someone who was caught by a regular police officer?
You're asking questions where you shouldn't.
That's dumb. As the movie was progressing, I was just thinking, okay, there has to be something more to this feud.
Lots
I'm
happened.
waiting for them to really get pissed off at each other for a legitimately good reason, and it never came.
Yeah.
Then we're introduced to Luthor. Luthor's a bratty rich kid, and he's weird. He's a weird guy.
He's a cliche. That is my diagnosis. It really bothered me. I felt like he was really annoying.
And he's trying to get kryptonite. He's trying to get it over to the US. So Luthor goes to Holly Hunter and says, I need this kryptonite. I want to make it into a weapon so that no Kryptonians can come to Earth again. And we'll have something to, keep them away, even though there are no other Kryptonians. Luthor doesn't get that kryptonite from Holly Hunter. He goes to her assistant and says, I want the kryptonite. I want access to Zod's ship, and I want access to Zod's dead body. So the assistant says, yes, you can have all these things. Luthor goes into that ship, into Zod's ship, with Zod's body, figures things out really quick, mixes Zod's dead DNA with his own blood, and has the ship start to generate some clone-y type animal, which ends up being Doomsday.
Why is Lex Luthor plus Zod
Equal Doomsday?
Yeah.
It doesn't. Lex Luthor's having a big party, and he's invited Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne. So Batman kind of escapes from the party for a bit, goes down to this room with these computers and tries to hack into the mainframe to get some data. And there he meets a young lady who I really thought, this is embarrassing, I knew that Wonder Woman was in this movie. I thought that this actress was going to be Catwoman. The second that she pops up on screen, I'm like, oh, I bet she's Catwoman. knowing what characters were going to be in this movie. She even had gold latches hooking her dress together that were very obviously Wonder Woman-esque, and I still didn't get it
It's better
through
than me.
my
I saw
tiny
her,
brain.
and I was like, oh, she's just a high-class prostitute who we'll never see again. This has just Ben Affleck's time to shine.
Not Catwoman, not a hooker. It's Wonder Woman. So Bruce Wayne goes back upstairs. Wonder Woman steals the data. Wonder Woman steals the information from Batman while Batman is upstairs talking to Clark Kent, and we have Clark Kent meets Bruce Wayne. What an amazing thing. Ooh, don't mess with this guy. Haha, I don't know who you guys are secretly. But he does.
Superman was getting all this flack, and Batman's not. Superman goes and sees the shit Batman's doing. He's like, seriously? Why am I getting all this shit? And they're letting him go with a pass when he's branding these criminals and sentencing them to death when they go to jail.
There is a congressional hearing for Superman. Superman is testifying, and Lex Luthor is supposed to be there. He ends up being a no-show, and he ends up blowing up the entire building. And of course Superman lives through that because he's Superman. He decides to go into a self-imposed exile.
What is his psyche like? PTSD from watching all of that shit go down. And he reacted to it. It's like the one thing in the movie that makes sense.
Superman decides that Batman's a menace because he's branding these criminals. So Batman meets up with Superman. They're having a cockfight, essentially. Batman says, "Do you bleed?" And Superman flies off.
You will.
Batman has this dream sequence where he's fighting a lot of Superman's guys, which I didn't know Superman had guys. He's clearly knows the steps in his choreographed fight. I mean, people are falling before they're hit.
It's so bad.
Batman went over to Lex Luthor's place after Lex got the kryptonite and stole the kryptonite. So now Batman has all of this kryptonite that he can make weapons out of. So he makes a spear out of kryptonite. He makes these little gas bombs that have kryptonite gas in them. So later on, Luthor grabs Clark Kent's mom, Martha. He tells Superman on the roof of this skyscraper in Metropolis, you need to kill Batman or I'm going to kill your mom. Look across the way, like just across the river. See that bat signal right over the highway? Fly over there.
Who knew?
I had no idea they were that close.
No, I feel like this would have happened a long time ago.
So Superman goes over to where Batman is. Batman has decided, I'm turning on this bat signal, and that's going to signal Superman to come here. Why would that be?
Because he doesn't know what Lex Luthor has in store.
Batman has no idea what Lex's plans are. He's just flipping on this bat signal.
Why did we see this movie? Why are we talking about it?
So Superman says, I'm going to go to Batman and I am going to tell him that Luthor has my mom and I'm going to stop him and we're going to work this out.
Which makes sense.
Until Superman gets there and starts walking towards Batman in the most aggressive manner. Doesn't just kind of hover.
He probably, he could have like hovered right there.
Yeah,
Just been like, let's talk
hey,
about this.
So Luthor, he has my mom, whose name is Martha. I know that that's really important to you. He told me I have to kill you, and I really don't want to, so let's work this out.
No.
Superman goes to Batman, walking towards him really aggressively. All these machine guns are going out, and he's like, yeah, stop hitting me with your little dinky bullets. Batman starts throwing kryptonite bombs at him, and now, Superman's weakened, and they have this big epic fight where Superman can actually be hurt. And
I thought it was really interesting too, is like, Batman was throwing all this shit at him for a long time that had nothing to do with kryptonite. You knew that like the shit he was throwing at him couldn't really like affect him.
Yeah.
But he did it anyway and was like tossing him around. But I feel like he was trying to like prove, like get him down, like this would hurt me and I wanted to hurt you.
Batman has the upper hand on Superman, and Batman gets out his kryptonite spear.
Superman is on the ground. He's been beaten to a pulp. He's like given in, and Batman like has his boot on Superman's neck, right, or something. He's just like savoring the moment with this spear. He's like, and he hasn't done it yet. And then Superman says, "Martha, we have to save Martha." And Batman like freaks out. He's like, "Why did you say that name?
Why do you say Martha?"
It was the closest thing to emotion that we saw in Batman.
And then we instantly cut to Batman going to his parents' graves and putting flowers on his mom's grave that says Martha.
Which,
really big.
so they're both named Martha. Both of their moms are named Martha.
Instantly de-escalated.
You might as well have seen Superman's pants and been like, "You wear a 32? I wear a 32. We have so much in common."
So now Superman and Batman are best friends. So Lex Luthor is back in Zod's ship. Superman and Batman go there, and Luthor says, "Hey, here's a new creation that I made." So Doomsday comes out of the goo and starts to go on a rampage. All of a sudden, Wonder Woman shows up in her gear. Superman says, "Who are you?" Batman says, "I thought she was with you," even though he actually knows her.
Doomsday comes out. Superman, I think, grabs him and they shoot into space.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the Situation Room, the president's like, "Let's throw some nukes at him." And everyone's like, "Okay." So they do. Let's see what happens. They throw nukes at him. This is the first time Superman died.
He did.
So it hits Doomsday and he just like empowered by the nuclear
Takes
energy.
on the energy.
Superman is supposedly dead up in the atmosphere, and Doomsday just comes back down and he's wreaking havoc.
Yeah. And then the sun hits Superman. And then, of course, because the sun is what gives him his powers, he just completely regenerates and then goes back down. Superman realizes that Doomsday has Kryptonian DNA, so Kryptonite's going to hurt him. So he goes to get the Kryptonite spear. Why he's the one to go and get that, well, Lois is in trouble. Lois goes to get it. Lois goes to get it. She gets trapped under some water. He has to save her, so he saves her. He gets the Kryptonite spear. The one guy that this actually affects. He goes to kill Doomsday, stabs him through the heart, right as Doomsday takes his little claw thing and stabs Superman through the heart. So they both die.
Superman clearly had a death wish.
He's tried so many times to die.
Yes. Superman dies. This was so easily avoidable. Lois said, "Don't do this."
She was a woman. So now there's a funeral. A really not sad, I don't care funeral. Superman is laid to rest. Lois Lane is there. Yeah, completely unrelated.
Yeah.
Clark Kent has also died on the same day as Superman. Martha, Clark's mom, comes into a room and says, "This mail came for Clark. You should open it, and it's an engagement ring."
This is what could have been. Make sure to give this to her. Make sure she
you.
knows that we had a future
So
together.
we could have been
That I just
really
lost her
happy, but
Make sure she knows. I want to drive it
I
home.
never want her to get over me.
I
I want
wonder.
to ensure that she's single forever. You dodged a bullet, Lois. So at Superman's funeral, Batman and Wonder Woman are talking and saying, "Hey, we need to gather all the metahumans together. We're going to create this league." And that's where they leave it. They leave it cliffhangery. Ooh, Justice
how they
League
do?
is about to come out. Lois goes up to Superman's grave, grabs a handful of dirt, throws it on the grave, and then all of a sudden you hear a faint heartbeat, and then the dirt starts to levitate. End.
I feel like the poor quality of this episode really captures the movie and how bad it was. We work with what we have. This drove it home. Bad.
Horrible.
Empty.
It was
It
terrible.
was bad. It was dumb. It was a dumb movie.
For me, it was Luthor was miscast. He was far too young. The conflict between Batman and Superman was non-existent.
Didn't exist.
The resolution to their conflict was idiotic.
It was just a dumb movie. We still don't know if Superman bleeds.
That was really my biggest question.
He died. How do we save this episode?
Sock puppets?
Batman!
Superman,
We don't need to fight.
I hate you.
That's irrelevant!
I'm gonna kill you with my kryptonite spear.
Martha!
How did you know my mom's name?
Oh, that's my mom's name.
What? We're like best friends now.
OMG, that's so crazy!
Superman's my best friend now.
Well, that's Batman vs. Superman. What did you think? Let us know in the comments down below. Did you like it? I really want to hear what you liked about it. Until next time, bye.
Bye.
Was she with you?
She is so human.
I thought she was with you. You're the only one who's been talking to her, Batman. If anybody, she would be with you.
That actually would have been
I would have
better.
liked that more, because like I had a dream where my mom's name was
Well,
Martha,
because
but
then it's
my
like,
mom's name
oh,
is
maybe
Nancy.
this is...
Whoa!
Same.
I had a dream about this. He didn't want to get married.
I think he was scared of marriage. Yeah. I think that's really what this is
He
about.
regretted that Etsy order of a ring that came in the mail.
This is really all about his existential crisis.
Lex Luthor.
Always Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
What's his first name?
Lex. Oh, there's a bug in my
Drink it.
wine.
Nah.
There you go.
Oh, maybe I'm just gonna crush it like a flea. Oh god. No, it's too rolly. It's not a flea.
Oh, he didn't die. He's fine.
I think I just maimed it. Robin! That's my beer. Can we like, play a Meatloaf? Cue the Meatloaf song and just look into each other's eyes.
Anything for love. I would do anything for love. I would do anything for love. But I won't do that.
Won't you?
No, no.
I can be your hero, baby.
I love this song.
I can kiss away the pain.
Is that really Enrique Iglesias?
I can be your hero. You can take my breath away. I can be your hero.